Hello, Rama Rama Puppodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a nice life and relaxed life. Be happy always. Now let's go to chapter 43, part 2, A Street Hit. For the Ekadasi, Ramdas was taken again to Pandharpur, where he came across troops of devotees whom he had met on his visits to the villages. From Pandharpur on his way to Agalkot, wherefrom he had an invitation, he made a halt for a day in Sholapur. Prem Singh, who was in his company, desired that he should stop with a relation of his who was a great devotee. Ramdas agreeing, the party consisting of Janathan Pant, Prem Singh, Maruti and Madhav Rao proceeded to the devotee's house. Here already a noted saint was a guest of the householder, and a puja of a photo of the saint's guru was in full progress. When he entered, Ramdas directly went up to the veranda where the worship was taking place. A seat of cushions was by the side of the photo, the asan of the saint. Prem Singh, who carried a deerskin for Ramdas, spread it on the cushion and beckoned him to take his seat on it. Ramdas unconsciously obeyed and sat down while all the congregated people were standing and the saint was performing the puja in all elect. The puja over, the saint, without caring even to look at Ramdas, retired to an inner room of the house as a mark of his displeasure at the apparently insulting behavior of Ramdas. In fact, Prem Singh had unwittingly made him sit on the gadi or asan of the saint, who must have surely boiled and fumed at Ramdas' gross insolence. But Ramdas was unconcerned and indifferent. Next, to make reparation for the lapse and scenting unpleasantness, Prem Singh, preparing another seat by the side of Ramdas, requested the saint to come out and grace it, which he, however, did with manifest reluctance. Then, garlanding both, he saluted them. The saint was not yet reconciled. The saint asked Ramdas who his guru was, to which Ramdas replied, Ramdas, Guru is residing in his own heart and in the hearts of all. At this the saint sniffed contemptuously and left his seat. In the evening, as usual, in the program of the saint, there was reading of Daspot, the well-known work of Saint Samarth Ramdas, the eminent guru of Shivaji of historic fame. In the course of his discourse, the saint levelled at first, wailed, succumbs at Ramdas, and at last broke out into the peroration. Nowadays, it is common for any man in the street to don the sannyasi robe, pose himself as guru, and travel from place to place for collecting disciples. Of this type, you have one in person of the sadhu sitting here. He pointed his finger directly at Ramdas. Ramdas could only smile at the invective. After his provocation was over, Maruti the lad was called upon to speak on the oft quoted and sublime sloka of the Gita. Sarvadharman Parityajya, etc. Abandoning all dharmas, come to me alone for shelter. Grieve not, I shall liberate thee from all sins. The boy delivered himself in a breathless outflow for about half an hour. Lastly, the saint asked Ramdas to speak a few words in Hindi. At first, Ramdas started on the universal darshan, which he emphasized as the goal of all spiritual endeavors. Then he came to the mean of its attainment. He held out the service of saints and Ram Nam as the only necessary sadhanas for the purification of the mind and heart, which was the essential condition for achieving that supreme vision. He congratulated the assembled devotees on the good fortune in having an opportunity for serving a saint. Pointing to the saint by Ramdas' side, he added that there was a saint for them to serve and be benefited. He exhorted them not to allow such a God-given occasion to slip by. For the night, Ramdas was escorted to a house of a merchant devotee who once had an occasion to entertain him at Angar. He was away from home, but his pure-hearted wife welcomed him and the party into her house. The saint, whom Ramdas met at Prem Singh's relation house, had told him to be present next morning when he would expound Yoga Vasishta. But Prem Singh stood resolutely against Ramdas attending it. The friends who were with him made adverse comments of the saint's behavior towards him. But he stopped them, saying, "Why do you forget that it is Ram himself playing that part? He assumes various characters." Early on the following day, the party left Sholapur by motor bus for Akalkot. By midday, they reached the town and were put up in the house of a friend named Taksade. He was all kindness and hospitality. This friend arranged for a discourse in English by Ramdas at the Samadhi temple of the late renowned saint of the place, Agalkot Baba. A few hours before the engagement, an elderly Vakil, who was stricken with grief over the demise of his near relation, came to see Ramdas. In his talk, he roundly attacked the faith in the existence of a God. Ramdas had a few words with him, and a marvelous change came over him. He took Ramdas to his dwelling and was all humility and kindness. In the evening, among a large number of friends who attended the discourse at the temple, the Vakil friend was one who sat straight in front of Ramdas. The latter spoke for about 45 minutes. He observed the Vakil shedding stream of tears. It was evident that he was touched by Ramdas' repeated exhortations to believe in God and conceive devotion for him. That very night, Ramdas had to start from Agalkot to Bangalore. The railway station lay at a distance of 6 miles from the city. A horse tanga was hired to take him to the station. The Vakil friend was there to take final leave of him. When the tonga was about to start, the friend was overpowered by strong emotion and wept on account of separation. Then again, as the tonga was nearing the railway station, Maruti cried like an inconsolable child at the thought of his approaching severance from Ramdas. Jonathan Pat took him to task for his exhibition of feelings in that manner, reminding him of the highly philosophy he used to propound while dilating on the Gita slokas. They reached the station, and when the train arrived, Prem Singh and Madhav Rao also started weeping. So, in the midst of their wails, Ramdas and Janathan Pant, who proposed to accompany him as far as Bangalore, got into the train and left Sholapur district. Here, a few words about the nature of the villages surrounding the Pandharpur shrine in Sholapur may not be out of place. These simple village folk, besides being sincere and honest, having an extremely kind and hospitable disposition, no traveller or guest is allowed to go from their doors without receiving due service from the household. They are humble and unassuming in their manners. They take it that the guest is Vithoba himself, the deity of Pandharpur, and on the side of the guest, he too considers that he is fed and kindly treated by the same deity. Their mode of living is quite plain, coarse, but the wholesome food and thick clothing put on in the old fashion suffice their needs. They are a hardy and industrious people. Time is out of account with them, and they are not bound by its tyranny. They are tolerant, generous, and self sacrificing to a degree. They do not harass their minds and others with skeptical doubts. They implicitly believe in the workings of providence and live always in the submission to Him. The females among them are also of the same incorruptible nature. That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupoda.